Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk about companies, and the same thing is applicable to individuals also. Are companies frugal? I've seen companies which, when they get funding, the minute they get funding, they go and invest like nobody's business. They would buy expensive laptops. They would buy expensive cars, mostly for the promoter himself. The promoter would fly J class. He'll stay in hotels costing 5x what the normal people are allowed to stay. They just blow a lot of money. You see such companies and you realize these are companies which do not have the process in place about what to do with life. So generally the promoters want to have a good life. Incidentally, they may make some money for the shareholder, or they may not make any money for the shareholder, and they'll start justifying to themselves, it's okay because the shareholder is a rich guy, I need not repay him, or some shit like that. And I've seen few such companies, and I've also seen companies which are so what should I say, constrained in their cash, that they will take money only exactly as they need the money, not whenever money is available. This is a very sensible thing, because what ruins a startup is when they have excess money and they start living like that capital is like their PAT, right? Their their profit after taxes. It's not your money, it's money which is borrowed. It is called equity, but it is basically a borrowing from you've used your goodwill, you've used your kinetic energy to have that money in your bank account. So you should behave responsibly towards it, right? So a company which, there should be a difference between burning shareholder money and burning your own profit after tax. It's like spending father's money and own money. When it is father's money or mother's money, the chances are you're not as responsible as you are towards your own money, right? So I keep saying this: open an account for your child and make sure that you get a quarterly printout and show it to your child. Whether it's a boy or a girl, they have to learn investing and compounding. So show them how you're investing 5,000 rupees a month. So end of the year, they should have 60,000 rupees. So show them and teach them money so that they become responsible towards their money. And then once in a while you ask them, oh, you wanted that shoe, can I buy it with your money? And then you see how they react to your own money. That is this, when you teach your children these things, when they grow up and they take money from shareholders, they have some sense of responsibility, and they also feel that they've taken money from from people who know nothing, right? So if I start a business, my dad or my dad's friend comes and puts money in my business, they are doing it just because I am so and so, right? So they don't know the P&L. These are the angel investors. They are investing because it's your business. So it's your cousin, it's your neighbor, it's your classmate, it's your father's friend who are investing. They are investing because they love you, not because they know what you are going to do. But there are companies I see which have absolutely no problem spending on themselves, even while cheating people who have initially given them money. They cheat them without any problem, and the CEO will continue to fly first class, if not first class, at least business class, will stay in expensive hotels, right? Do all those things and ruin the money. And there are other companies which will just not take money. That is also wrong, because by that what happens is you are slowing down the pace at which you are growing, right? So I've seen such people. I've seen people who take money exactly when they need it and when how much they want, and they put in a process by which the excess money goes into a liquid fund and stays there and does not come out without the consent of the board or a mentor or somebody like that. So some companies do that and they are successful. Of course, those companies also fail. I know one boy who started that, and he created an app for collecting money for newspaper vendors. However, his problem started with the pandemic. The number of people buying newspapers fell dramatically, and even now more news is being consumed digitally than through the newspaper. So this process, creating this app was not a great success, but I cannot accuse him of blowing money. He was very, very clear as to how much he will borrow and how much he will repay. And of course, he lost a couple of crores for investors, but that's still okay. He could have gone overboard and bought a posh office, and he went to one of the cheapest suburbs. He hired people, he got many people to work from home, which for him was a strategy to save rent. He used offices. He used Starbucks and CCD offices for his business meetings. He did all those things. When you went into his office, you realized it was a factory where people were sitting and coding and working, and salespeople were out. So I saw that, and I also seen software companies which have been there around for 20-25 years, never earned any sensible amount of money, but their standard of living was never less, right? So the way they blew the money, especially when they got funded, they would blow the money, and afterwards again they would be seeking another round of funding. It didn't stop them from spending the next time again, right? But then those are not companies which are focused on growth. Those are not companies which are tomorrow's Amazons and tomorrow's Googles, right? So Amazon, for example, uses old doors, etc., to make desks. They're very clear that they're going to be frugal, right? So it's very difficult to be frugal when your company is very big. When you're very small, when you're 10 people, you feel, oh, let me save some money, because the impact of your saving money is visible, right? You can buy more space, you can buy a better server, you can do those things because of the fact that you cringed and spent less, right? You took a train instead of taking a taxi, or you took a train instead of taking a plane, right? You did all those things and you can see the impact. But when you are working in a company with 200 people, say in software, or 5,000 people in some other manufacturing company, the impact of your saving is not clearly felt. So that is very important for a company, not only to not spend, but also to convey the message. And conveying the message happens when the CEO does not spend. When the CEO spends, I have seen a company where they took an office, they had an office in Bombay, and they took a guest house in Delhi. However, the CEO and the COO and the CFO would never stay in that guest house because the guest house was not very good. But the others had to stay in that guest house, and that was a very poor signaling. When you go, you stay in a 4-star, 5-star, not 5-star, at least 3.5, 4-star hotels, spending X amount of money, and you expect your employees to stay in a guest house which was not well maintained, and therefore the CEO is not staying. Now imagine, I know another group where they have a very lovely guest house in South Bombay, and their CEO, their promoter, their CFO, Vice President Finance, everybody, whenever they come, they stay there, right? So it's the very clear messaging that if we can stay here, so can you. Of course, it's not that they don't stay in 5-star hotels, but they do that as an exception. If they have to address a press conference, they would come, stay in the hotel, do the press conference. They wouldn't want to spend time traveling, etc., etc. So sometimes you do break those rules. So if you are not very controlled in your expenses, it shows, and it does not augur well for the company in the long run. To achieve this frugality, it is important that big companies, and I've seen Reliance, I've seen HDFC Bank, even HDFC, the relentless focus on cost control. And I liked one of the principles of Amazon, so I will just read it out for you. Accomplish more with less. This is beautiful. Accomplish more with less. Constraints breed resourcefulness. That's so true, because only when you have a constraint, you use all your resources very effectively. Constraints breed resourcefulness, self-sufficiency, and invention. And this is far more important. There are no extra points for growing headcount, budget size, or fixed expense. This is so true. I've seen so many companies, especially in the financial service sector, who go and create new, let's set up a mutual fund, let's take an insurance company, let's get into broking, let's get into NBFC, let's do this, right? So the group gets into NBFC, then the NBFC head wants to create many more verticals so that his cloud within the group increases. You see all that happening. So increasing headcount, saying, oh, I have 4,000 people working under me, nothing adds value. So you should know what is adding value, what is not adding value, and how to work with constraints and improve your efficiency. Thank you.